So good evening, you beautiful people. It is Monday, the 12th of December. It is 9:04, and this is the penultimate Act on This TV Monday Night Live of 2022. We've got tonight. We're going to hang out till 10 p.m. If you watch on the recording, please leave me like a hashtag replay or something in the comments. Would love to hear from you. Let me know where you're watching from. But yeah, we've got tonight, and then we've got next Monday. And then that is it. We're going to be, what will next Monday be? That'll be like the 19th. So we can't do the following Monday because it's Boxing Day. So let's make it a good one. I've got absolutely freaking loads to talk about tonight. I'm going to play out some videos. I'm going to show you some pictures from the weekend because we had our Acts on This TV in person, the first in-person member meetup in probably 2 years. Honestly, the last time I did a member meetup was a week before we all got locked down, and we had no idea. We were making a bit of a joke out of, I won't say the word of the illness because I think Facebook limits your reach if you mention that word. But we were taking the mick out of it a little bit, not knowing what it was. Oh, have you heard this thing's going around? And we were like elbow bumping as opposed to handshakes and stuff like that. We even had a picture taken of us all with our elbows in the air going, oh, this, I won't say the word again, thing that we're hearing that's knocking around. It's only going to be here a couple of weeks. So we'll all be back for the meetup in April, like 2020. This was in March. Didn't happen. Did not happen. Hasn't happened for 2 years. So it was amazing. I've got a picture. Let me put a picture on the screen. For those on the audio experience, sorry, you're going to miss this, but I'm going to the Acts on This Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Acts on This TV. And you'll see some pictures from the meetup. But here's all the beautiful people. I'm sorry if I've cut people off. I couldn't fit everybody on. I've got half the screen with the London meetup, half the screen with the Manchester meetup. But it was just amazing. Shout out to Tom Housen as well for hosting the London event at the Ice Wharf in Camden. I hosted the Manchester event at 53.2 in Manchester. But let us know in the comments if you were there. If you're here live, or if you're on the replay, let us know in the comments if you were there, and just what it was like. What was your main takeaway from the event? It was a proper chilled out, literally just a Christmas like get together, just a social. We all had a mulled wine or whatever people wanted to drink, and then Sophia, shout out to Sophia from Manchester, a part of the Manchester meetup. She even brought like mince pie fudge. It tasted amazing. God knows how many calories were in it, but it was just brilliant to sort of network and just meet people again. Lots of the old school who were there before everything kind of got closed down were there for this meetup. Loads of new faces as well, and it looked like London was packed. London had a great turnout. So let us know if you were there, and how often do you reckon we should do these in the new year? We obviously do the Zoom event every Saturday, the first Saturday of every month. We do like a live meetup on Zoom, which is brilliant. We do breakout groups and everyone gets to meet people, and people can join from anywhere without traveling. Obviously, it's very cold at the moment. Trains are on strike every couple of days. So I appreciate not everybody was able to travel over the weekend. But I don't know, maybe once a quarter. We should do them at least once a quarter, shouldn't we? I reckon. And I want to do as well some in-person events where maybe I do like a panel event where what I'd love to do is maybe, I record once a month for members an in-depth podcast. And oh my God, I've got a brilliant podcast coming out for you this Wednesday. Stick around. I'm going to play a trailer out for that in a minute. A really good podcast. But yeah, I was thinking of maybe recording a podcast live in front of an audience. I don't know if that's something you'd be interested in coming to. Maybe doing a panel event where we get a top casting director, a top actor, and the top director. Maybe they've all been part of the same show. When a new show comes out, maybe we get the director on, the casting director, and maybe the star of the show on like a fireside chat, they call it. It's like just a panel, basically. Everyone has a microphone. I'll host it, and then the audience gets to throw questions in as well. And we just have like a chat. It gets recorded for people who can't make it live, and then all members of Acts on This will get access to the video in the members area. But maybe we have just 50 tickets available if you want to come and watch it actually being recorded live. I think that would be pretty cool. So let us know if you'd be up for that. Joe, good evening. Terry Jade, was great to see you at the weekend. Hope you're good. Zoe said she loved the meetup. Nick, yes, you were in the picture there. You were in the picture with your great Christmas jumper, Nick, as well. At the London meetup. That's wicked. And Alex is saying, yeah, it was mad when you think we were like 2 weeks and we'd be back to normal back in 2020. Honestly, that's what we all thought. And then 3 years later, still not quite normal, is it? Still a little bit crazy. And Terry's main takeaway was that someone forgot their Christmas jumper. I did. I'm an idiot. I got everyone, like, in the invite, I was like, wear a Christmas jumper. And honestly, I went to the wardrobe to get my Christmas jumper out on Saturday morning, and a swear word came out of my mouth, and my girlfriend's like, what's up? And I'm like, I gave my Christmas jumper that said Sledgendary on it to the charity shop downstairs this summer, just gone, thinking, oh, it's all right, I'll buy a new one before Christmas. Didn't buy one. I wanted to buy one when I went to Harry Potter Land, like Harry Potter's Warner Brothers studio tour. I thought they'll do a great Christmas jumper. I'll get a Gryffindor Christmas jumper. They didn't, but they weren't great quality. They were 75 quid. I was like, no freaking way am I spending 75 quid on a Christmas jumper. So I ended up with no Christmas jumper, folks. So I just wore a black jumper. So apologies for that, but I will be on better form next year. Caroline says, we're such a lovely meet up. Great to see familiar faces and new people. Caroline, I saw you in the picture. Thanks so much for being there. And Nick says every quarter has been mooted, and that's about right. Yeah, just enough for people to make an effort to come. Yeah, I think so. David, good evening, mate. Bethany, how you doing? Thanks for being here. I think we will do them. We will do them every quarter. So thank you so much for those people who did come along. And if you can't make it, or you couldn't make it for geographical reasons, don't forget, tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m, it is our Christmas cocktails and conversation evening. It's on Zoom, so you can join from anywhere. You don't have to pay to travel or anything like that. And if you've not been at one of these before, we do these just twice a year, basically. And these are member get-togethers online. So tomorrow night, that's Tuesday, the 13th of December, if you're here live, 7:30 p.m, for all members of AtsOnThis.tv. We jump on Zoom, and we just have a Christmas get-together. So there's 3 rounds of networking where you'll get to break out into breakout groups on Zoom and just have a chat with each other. And then we do Petch's, producer Petch, we do Petch's big Christmas quiz. He's been working so hard on this quiz. He won't tell me anything about it, but it's always me versus the community. It's, I get a question, you get a question, I get a question, you get a question. And if you answer your question right, you can win Amazon gift cards. And this year, I've still got plenty of copies of Julie Hesmondhalghe's incredible new book, An Actor's Alphabet, signed by her, to give away as well. So tomorrow night, if you're there live, it doesn't get recorded. It's just a big get-together and a big quiz. But if you are going to join us live, wear your Christmas jumper. Again, I haven't got one. I don't know if I'd have time to go and buy one tomorrow. But I'm going to give away hundreds of pounds worth of Amazon gift cards and copies of Julie's book. So be there, basically, if you want to be in the mix for one of those. So that's tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Let's do a little recap on last week's... what day is it? It's Monday now, isn't it? So it was last week. Last week's Showreel Surgery. Who was there live on Showreel Surgery? This is a feature we do for members every quarter, basically, with, in my opinion, the best showreel producer in the UK, Mr. Chris Stone. What we do is we play out 5 members' showreels live on the night. They get picked at random. Chris critiques them. We go over them. Everyone pitches in with how we can make them better. Chris walks us through what we've developed now as like an 8-step formula to create the best, acting showreel you've probably ever had. If you implement these 8 things within this formula, and we just have just hang out, have a really great time. I thought we had some of the strongest reels we've ever played out on a Showreel Surgery on Thursday night. Let me just show you 2 minutes of what you missed if you weren't there, and I'll show you how this works. And if you want to get the replay of this, the full recording is in the members area right now on AtsOnThis.tv. I think it's about 2 hours long, so it's an in-depth session, but you will get to see basically what your competition is sending out to casting directors and to agents, and you will get to see where your reel stacks up, whether you need to make any tweaks. If you implement this 8-step formula, I promise you'll have the best showreel you've ever had. But here's a little bit of what you missed if you weren't there. In my opinion, the best showreel producer in the UK, joining us tonight once again for Showreel Surgery is Mr. Chris Stone. Chris, how are you? What is new, do you think, in the world of reels?
Period drama, with all the period drama stuff, that's always popular. I've done a lot of mockumentaries recently, which are absolutely so much fun to shoot.
Talking of period drama...
Your heart would miss me. Admit it.
My heart would mend in the arms of another.
If you're doing period, it has to be top notch. So you have to go out and get the best possible stuff that you can get, and also stuff that looks worn.
We're going to do something different that we've not done before, and that's revisiting a reel. We're going to go through these 8 points now that we say should be in each reel, and then we're going to play out Anna's new cut that you've done.
I know what you did to the man with the toe in the nose. I found a finger under the bed.
If you take out one thing from tonight is, by the end of the reel, you go, oh, I get who that person is. I know where I put them. If you don't get that from the end of the reel, then it fails, no matter how good it is.
You haven't responded to our last 2 emails. The ones about her assessment.
Evie, you're going to make us even later.
And the one from the SEN teacher. He said he sent an attachment with a link to the DLA forms.
I think the order is just the wrong way around. It should be police scene, then the school, then
End on
this one with going,
cliffhanger.
not guilty, boom, cliffhanger. That's your ending.
I didn't tell you to stop backing.
Oh god, there's so much stuff here. You could create one of the best reels I've probably ever seen if you got this down to 2 minutes and 20.
Well,
It's okay, Claire. We're all James Blunt fans here.
thank you.
It's great, like going to the cinema and watching like trailers and adverts and going, oh, I did his reel, I did her reel. If you're in something, let me know, because that's the biggest buzz I can get, is knowing, the success stories.
actonthis.tv if you want to see the full 2-hour showreel surgery there. But honestly, you can see from the little clips I played out there of those reels, such talent in our community. Actors there working opposite Jodie Comer. I love Maria's reel at the end where she's doing a comedy scene with James Blunt where they're all like recovering James Blunt fans. I love James Blunt. I think he's all right. And he loves taking the piss out of himself as well. So there's just some really, really good stuff on show on Thursday night. So go check it out. Actonthis.tv. I'll go over to the website now. Where's the website? Here's the website. If you're not a member, you know what? If you've not had the year you wanted in 2023, join Actonthis.tv and during 2022. Join us on this. Make 2023 your best year ever. Every week we sit down with the biggest casting directors, the biggest agents, the biggest actors, writers, producers, directors, like in TV, the people who literally run the industry, and they just tell you outright how to have more success, how to land representation from them if they're an agent, how to get in the room for castings or self-tapes if they're a casting director. Actors who... that was a great session there. For those on the audio experience, I'm showing... a session we did with our very own member, Michelle Jerram, just last week. Week before last, she stars as DS Monty Montrose in the brand new BBC drama Granite Harbour that plays out at 9 p.m. Friday nights at the moment. And Michelle literally in that session reverse engineered and walked us through exactly what she did to land that role. It's just information you're not getting anywhere else. We've got, BAFTA-winning casting directors like Aisha Bywaters. Daniel Edwards, shout out to Daniel. He's coming round to mine for a podcast. He just won an Emmy for casting Heartstopper a couple of nights ago. He also won an RTS award for Heartstopper as well. But he's coming round to sit in my kitchen for 2.5 hours to chat all things casting for 2023. But yeah, kick the tires on the site. If you want to get a trial, actonthis.tv /trial. You can go and get a trial for 7 days for £1. But I promise you, become part of this community. It will motivate you. It will inspire you. It will force you to be accountable and take action in your career in 2023. Because so many actors out there, just the harsh reality is they're just like, either they're not doing enough because they don't know what to do, or they've not got the accountability to do it. I guarantee you, if you think right now, what you've actually done, the action you've taken this year in 2022, and even I'd include myself in this as well, we all could have done more. We all could have done more. And if you sat there complaining that auditions aren't coming in, or you can't land the agent or whatever, or nothing's happening for you, you're probably not doing enough. It's just the brutal reality of life and the industry in every walk of life. But sometimes it's like, well, what more can I do? Well, if you join the sessions on Acts on This, the casting directors literally tell you exactly what more you could do. Agents give away their personal email addresses. How many people, by the way, I don't know, let me know if you're here live, reached out to Lucy Richardson from Asius Management, great agency we had on like 3 weeks ago. I must have seen half a dozen people sign with her since, because Lucy literally walked you through what she was looking for right now, gave her personal email address out that goes straight to her inbox. And I've been seeing on Twitter people like over the moon that they've signed with her. I know they would never have been able to sign with her had they not been on that webinar or watched the replay. Like those people who act on this, that's why it's called Act on This, really are getting further much faster. So do do come get involved if you're not involved already. Zoe says, who's James Blunt? Zoe, you must... you know who James Blunt is. I know you're very young, Zoe, but James Blunt, like, you're beautiful. That guy... You must have heard James Blunt. Google him, Zoe. If you do not know who James Blunt is, oh no, you're being serious as well. You need to Google James Blunt. He's a great singer. He's released some great songs, but one of his songs in particular got massively overplayed and became a bit of a caricature. He just takes the mick out of himself for it on Twitter. He's very, very self-deprecating and very funny. So go Google James. Right, what else have I got to go through with you tonight? I've got a podcast coming out for premium members of ActsOnThis.tv this Wednesday. So we're going to do Cocktails and Conversation tomorrow night. That's our live session for this week. That's going to be super chilled. We're going to give away all those gift cards, those Julie Hesmond House signed books. And then Wednesday, 10 a.m. roughly in the morning, I'm going to drop into your members area a podcast that will just inspire the hell out of you. Particularly, like I said before, if 2022 has not been your year and you're feeling a bit shit, maybe I know a lot of people who just haven't had the auditions that they wanted, haven't landed the parts. You know what? Even for me personally, let me just be completely transparent with you. I've had roughly a good dozen really quality auditions this year. A couple that would be game-changing. I had one for a Steven Spielberg project for Paramount Pictures that I thought I stood a really fucking good chance of getting. I didn't get it. A couple of other, really, really sort of like game-changing auditions. I had a great audition with a brilliant director I love called Bruce Goodison for a film with Nick Frost. Probably about a month ago now. I was going to say a couple of weeks, but it's more like a month. But this is the first year, literally in a decade. I've done lots of voice work and voice acting. I've voiced, some really big Netflix animations and cartoons and stuff this year. But this is the first year in probably 10 years where I haven't landed an in-vision acting job. Right? I just haven't. And I've had some great opportunities. But that's just the way that it goes sometimes. But, maybe if you've not even had those auditions or you're just not feeling great, maybe there's people, because I know there's people out there, I see them on Twitter all the time, just like wanting to quit, wanting to give up. If you're in that boat, watch this podcast or listen to this podcast that I'm going to drop into your members area on Wednesday morning. I swear to God, you'll resonate with it and it'll just inspire the shit out of you to continue. I'm going to play a trailer out now. This is with Philip Barantini, actor turned director, still does a bit of acting, but it's all about his journey to basically, being successful in the early days to then not being as successful, everything kind of drying up, battling addictions, alcohol, substance abuse, having to do other jobs, and then a big issue in his life happening, a big thing in his life. You know what? I'm just going to play the trailer out, but ultimately, where he's ended up now as a BAFTA-nominated director, just about to embark on creating his own 5-part TV show for BBC. It starts filming on about the 17th of January. It's just super, super inspiring. So if you're just not quite where you want to be mentally in the headspace you need to be to sort of move on, watch or listen to this and just don't quit, basically. Just take more action in 2023. But watch this. I think you'll enjoy it.
Philip Barantini, welcome back to ActsOnThis.tv. Welcome to my kitchen. You'll be pleased to hear there's nothing hitting boiling point around here except this chat. Where do we begin?
Thanks for coming.
Let's make some chips, yeah? Chop some spuds.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy your drinks.
Thank you.
Service on table 20.
Started out really well. I was very successful in my own eyes. I was doing well. I was in a band of brothers and
yeah.
Went out to Australia to do a big film over there with Heath Ledger. I was okay for money, but then when the jobs weren't coming in, I was getting, I needed to make some money, I needed to pay the bills. I was working in kitchens. I was going through quite a tough time in my life in terms of with my addictions and stuff like that. I never said I was quitting acting, you know what I mean? I'd never be like, oh, I've quit. But the auditions just weren't coming in. My mum passed away quite suddenly. She had this rare case of dementia called Pick's disease. She fell down the stairs, basically.
Oh, no.
And died. It was horrific. I was away in Spain at the time. My attitude changed completely, and I was like, do you know what? Why can't I do it?
Yeah.
Fuck it. What have I got to lose? You know what I mean? I said, listen, I'll get this made we can get this made in the next couple of months. Guarantee it. And I've got contacts here, contacts there. I had no fucking idea if we could get this made in 2 months.
In terms of the BAFTA nominations that you went on to get for that feature then, so best casting, leading actor for Stephen.
He would never consider himself, better than anyone else. And I think it's a wonderful quality to have that. Yeah, and he's worked with some of the best actors and directors in the world.
Outstanding British film.
Yep.
Outstanding debut by a British writer, director or producer.
Yeah. There was no solid okay, let's go and do a TV series. It was almost just yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, maybe we should do that then, because it'll be, you can sort of develop these characters further, and you've got more time. So we jumped on a Zoom, and she's like, "Okay, I'm going to cut to the chase. Have you thought about doing a TV series with Boiling Point?" She said, "We'll commission a script. Go and write it." I always say to people now, just jump off the cliff. Jump off the cliff and see if you can fly.
Oh, I got so carried away watching that, I almost forgot to turn the camera back on. Honest to God, I mean, it's a 2-hour chat, right? You just saw 2 minutes of it. But it's just a super open, honest, raw, vulnerable chat on the reality of actually succeeding in this industry and the shit that you've got to go through and the way that life will punch you in the face, and you've got two options. You literally, as I always say, fold like a cheap chair. Or you use that to fuel you to move forward. And obviously, Phil, everybody thought when Phil lost his mum that's it, he's going to go off the rails. That's it, he's going to be back drinking, taking drugs, that's it, it's going to be over for him. And he just said something just switched in my head and was like, no, you know what, now is the time I actually start living and start doing what I've always wanted to do. And I experienced something similar when my dad died. And I just don't want it to have to, happen to you before you start. Maybe it just does, I don't know. Maybe you have to have a massive life thing that just rocks your whole world for you to actually start doing what you want to do, or having the courage to do it, because you've got way less to lose now, because you're like, fucking hell, I just lost one of those precious things in my life, a parent. Why am I bothered about what a casting director or an agent thinks if I drop them an email, or I do a showreel scene, or I put myself out there on the internet and Johnny Pants 65 on Twitter says I'm shit? Why are you holding yourself back? Sometimes it takes that massive event in your life, but hopefully, I'd hope for you that it doesn't, so that you will start actually, doing what you want to do before something like that happens. But that's going to drop in your members area Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. Please drop me a tweet at Act on This TV once you've watched, or even during watching it. I just want to know what your takeaways are. Hopefully, it's going to help you end 2022 strong. It's going to get you a bit of clarity, get you a bit clearer on what it is that you want to achieve for 2023. For all those people who did Bulletproof Actor with me a couple of weeks ago, hopefully you guys are, clear on what it is that you want for 2023. It's a huge part of the program. But even then, watching something like that might just spur you on to go, fucking come on, let's go. Let's do it. So I'm very much looking forward to dropping that for you. I think it'll be amazing. Let me know, actually. You know what? Give us marks out of 10 for how 2022's been for you. And then also, not just that, right next to that, so give me two numbers, what you've had, how you would rate 2022, and then be really honest how you would rate the amount of action, the amount of output that you've put out there in your career to have a good year. Just be really honest. Maybe you know what, I rate my year 6 out of 10. It's kind of all right, average, but I know I only really gave it 4 out of 10. The tank's not empty. I could have given it a lot more. So actually, you know what, to get myself to an 8 out of 10 next year, that's going to be, relatively easy, because I know I can do so much more. If you say I had a 9 out of 10 this year and my output was a 9 out of 10, it's very difficult to get to a 10 in it. It's not really, you're already almost maxed out everything that you could do. But if you've not had a great year and you could have done a lot more, then actually it's very easy to have a better year next year. So just be dead honest with us. Let us know in the chat if you're here live. I would love to know. Caroline says, wow, sounds epic. It is, Caroline. You'll freaking love it, honestly. Definitely. And Alex says it's I love that quote, Alex. Yeah, he says it's like what Rocky says. He says it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. It is, and life's very much like that. Honestly, it will. I've experienced times where life's just absolutely hooked me in the face and knocked me out for a bit, and it's you can't control that situation. There's nothing I could have done, really, I don't think, to actually stop those situations from arising, and I couldn't have defended myself from those punches. But I am in control of what happens after that, how I respond to the situation, and like, you know, how quickly I get up ultimately. So yeah, just interesting, isn't it? It's interesting. Zoe says a 7 out of 10 on both scores. That's good, Zoe. That's solid, and I see you. I see you working hard in everything that you do. Alex says I say 7 out of 10. I'm going to say honestly, I've actually put 9 out of 10 in. Well, Alex, it's just consistency, mate. You got to keep hustling. Then you got to keep doing stuff and keep that output high at 9. But yeah, have a look at like what everybody's been doing. You know, have you been consistently creating content as opposed to consuming content? A lot of actors, in my opinion, don't create enough, don't shoot enough self-tapes, like just for fun and put them out there, don't shoot enough of their own work, don't write enough of their own work, don't email enough, you know, casting directors consistently. I see a lot of you guys here are a bit different though, aren't you? You're live with me at 9:30 on a Monday night when most other people are probably having a mulled wine, quitting on their acting career, feeling sorry for themselves. So most people here probably having a pretty good year, or if they haven't, they've at least been putting a lot of stuff into it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here with me live at 9:30 on a Monday. You'd probably be in the pub having a party or something. Let's have a look. Fiona says 6 out of 10 for the year, 8 out of 10 for effort. Honestly, again, Fiona, it's just going to be keep up. You know, you can probably get that 8 out of 10 to a 9. If you go the extra mile. I think it's very hard to say, yeah, I put 10 out of 10 in for effort. I feel very content about this year in terms of, particularly business-wise, how we built the Community Act on this. You know, we launched First TV Role Fast Track again, brilliant program to help actors, you know, get their first TV job. I relaunched Bulletproof Actor, the world's only high-performance, science-backed mindset, you know, high-performance, high-performance, science-backed positive psychology program. I couldn't speak then, for actors. Literally the only one on the planet. Is a program I launched in 2014, and we completely overhauled for 2022. And I joined forces with another high-performance coach and world record breaker, Mr. Matt Hall, which I think was game-changing for the people. You know, we took 106 actors through that this year, live over a 19-hour weekend. You know, we've consistently every single week given you a top guest from the industry. I've recorded some wicked podcasts this year, my own career, done a lot of voice acting. Like I say, I haven't booked. It's the first year in 10 years I haven't booked a TV job. I'm like, what's going on? But I don't feel I did a shit job of any of the tapes. I just think that is just life, and that's how it goes sometimes. So yeah, you know, I do feel very content about this year in terms of I feel like I'm going to finish at 4 p.m. on Christmas Eve, and I feel I'm going into Christmas with the tank very much almost empty. I believe I know we could all do more, so I can't say, 10 out of 10 for this. I do believe in terms of my output into the world, it's got to be up there in the 8s and 9s in terms of like consistency and the amount of content I've created this year, but I know I always could have done more. I can't sit here going, oh yeah, you know, I really squeezed out every last drop. I worked bloody hard, but you know, I probably could have done a little bit more. But I do feel good going into the Christmas period. Going, you know what, fair play, you do deserve a rest. Because I don't know what you're like, but I hate it. If I know, and we can con the world, can't we? You know, on social media, you can put out all these posts and stuff going, oh, look what I'm doing. But you know when you put your head on the pillow at night, if you've really put the work in. And I feel this year I can do that. Because I hate it when I don't feel like that. When I'm like, oh, you know what, you sort of cut corners there, you let yourself off, Ross. And there's definitely been years where I felt like that. 100%, you know, particularly, you know, a decade ago. God, my whole 20s. Literally probably every year. I'm 40 now, but probably every year of my 20s, oh my God, I could have done so much more. So much more. I didn't really start getting serious about life, this industry, you know, the business and building a business within the acting industry, probably till 31, 32. The last 8 years, I've hustled my ass off. But, you know, from 20 to 32, I think I was just expecting something to happen. Just like, oh, you know, I'll be discovered, something like that. It just is not like that. The world's not like that. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to do it for you, and you have to realise that. before you really start moving the needle. But fair play to those people who've really had solid years and they've put in a load of effort. Terry says 7.5 out of 10 for the year. Had 4 acting jobs. What we said there, so not bad. That's great. But she says, thanks for your honesty, 6.5 for output. Had a bit of a dip in the summer. Otherwise, consistency has been pretty high, but always room to improve. Yeah, 6.5 is solid, but you know what? To get that 6.5 to an 8, you know what you need to do. It's not like, to get from an 8 to a 10 is quite hard because you're already maxing out. You're doing a lot. And it's really important to actually have some time for yourself as well. What I've realised this year, more than any other year, probably my biggest lesson, next week's Monday Night Live, I'm going to go through my top 5 lessons of 2022. I'd love to know some of yours now for inspiration, by the way. I've not written mine yet, but I know one of them, without a doubt, because I've really gone deep on this for the first time ever this year, is the importance of sleep in terms of high performance, clarity, being productive. It's so important. I invested in something this year called an Aura Ring, Oura. Look at these things. They're amazing. It really tracks your sleep in depth, and it gives you all these stats you would never know about, unless you had a device like this. There's a few wearable devices that really track your sleep in depth, but I think Aura is one of the best. And it gives you everything from your temperature to your heart rate to, how restless you were in the night. Something really important called your heart rate variability, which is the time basically between beats. It's not quite your heart rate. It's the variability between the length of time between beats across a long period of time, like a 24-hour period or whilst you're sleeping. And the longer that variability, so the higher the number effectively, the more recovered your heart is. And it is fascinating when you see the graphs that this creates, because I saw, a couple of weeks ago when I was launching Bulletproof Actor, when we were taking these 106 actors through this program, it was a culmination of about 4 months' work. We had over 1,000 slides to present across a weekend, like 17 and a half hours of coaching. It was all live, lot of pressure, lot of stress to get everything sorted. Now, I was certainly feeling it, but I would have had no idea the effect that was having on my recovery and my heart health in general. And I saw on this graph, it was absolutely fascinating. I showed it everybody on the program, how my heart rate variability drastically dropped for the 2 weeks, 1 week either side of the program, and then the weekend of the program. And then the second I delivered that and it was over, I mean, literally the very next day, my heart rate variability shot right up. And I was like, my God, you don't know the effects of stress on your body until, and how important sleep is until you really, because I felt run down, but I couldn't see the effects of it on my heart. But I got to see on this graph the exact stats. And if we're not careful, I don't know about you, but particularly last year, I went through the whole of 2021 trying to get by on 5.5 hours sleep a night, and not realizing by November I was an absolute mess health-wise. I was working out every day in the gym, but I was feeling like absolute shit. And I ended up going, I think I mentioned this before, but I was like, there's something wrong. Something is not right about my recovery in my body. Don't feel myself. And I went and I did a blood test, a really in-depth blood test I did privately on the internet. And when I got the results back a few days later, God, my hormones, male hormones, testosterone, all this globulin, it's called, in your blood, and cortisol levels were all over the freaking place. And I was like, wow, I need to get on top of my sleep. And we all know we should protect our sleep, but so few of us do it because we're like, oh, I'll sleep when I'm dead. And it's not. It's like, if you don't sleep, you will die. You'll just die an early death. You really, really need to focus on your sleep. That's been a huge lesson for me. So let us know what your main takeaways from this year have been. But that's definitely going to be one of mine that I'll present next week. I'm going to do my top 5 lessons of 2022. And I'm also recording on Wednesday a brand new end-of-year podcast for you guys, for members of ActsOnThis.tv, with producer Petch. It's our quarterly table talk episode that we give members. It'll be a really in-depth 2.5 hour chat. And again, we're going to go through sort of, our biggest takeaways and what we've learned this year. But I'd love to know yours. Let us know what your main takeaway from 2022 would be. Alex said he could probably film more stuff. Yeah, Alex, that's something you could definitely do to get that output up there, mate. Film more more stuff for yourself. Look at people like Evie Guttridge in our community. just consistently puts out her comedy sketches. You might have seen them on Twitter. She plays like a rebellious schoolgirl in like sat at the back of the class, like backmouth, what do you call it? Not backmouthing. Yeah, what do you call it when you talk back to the back chatting to the teacher? I don't know what it's called, but she's really funny, and they're not like high production, glossy. Videos, but they're just really funny. And she ended up working with Jason Mazza, an incredible producer and actor who we've had on Acts on This.tv for a live Zoom call this year. He's known for producing and acting in some massive stuff. Like, what did he do? He did the Twist, the Sky remake of Oliver Twist with Michael Caine, Bulletproof for Sky One. He produces a multi-million pound films. And Evie reached out to him after he'd been on Acts on This.tv for a member Zoom call, and he ended up saying, yeah, I'll do some sketches with you. And, again, just consistency and hard work. Now she's just signed with Lucy from Attius, who we had on a couple of weeks ago, all because she was putting stuff out there and just filming her own work. So it's definitely something you could do, Alex. And if you get your niche and you get something that you're good at, whether that's comedy or drama or whatever, and you just consistently put stuff out. Look what it did for Johnny Weldon this year and last year. Look what it's done for Harry Trevaldwyn. As well, both incredible, sort of Twitter comics and just funny people in their own right. But they got known and their work got known via social media platforms, not glossy at all. None of it's filmed on a budget more than literally turning their iPhone around on themselves. So a lot of people are like, oh, I'd love to film stuff, but I don't have all the kit and a crew. You don't need it if you're good. Just show your talent off. Joe says, life has been incredibly hard. So not had much time to work. But it's my aim. Family members been in hospital, so I'm using Bulletproof to get me all set up. Joined Success School, had a coaching session. That's Matt's membership as well, Joe. Nice one. And hopefully, you can use the next few weeks to just sort of rejuvenate, get set up, get your ducks in order. Ducks in order? Get your ducks in a row. Well, I'm not very good today, am I, at these quotes? But yeah, and then you can start 2023 strong. So yeah, do use the next couple of weeks if you can. Maya, how you doing? Hope you're good. It says late was working on my Bulletproof modules. For those people who haven't got involved in Bulletproof Actor this year, by the way, I will be not re-releasing. I'll be releasing for the first time the program that we recorded live as a pre-recorded program in early 2023. Get involved in it. Seriously, mindset is everything. It really is absolutely everything. And I'm so chuffed seeing everybody who was on that weekend go through the program now in our Facebook group and on bulletproofactor.com as well. And in the aftercare groups that we've got for people who went through that program. It's just phenomenal seeing people again on the daily, turning up consistently, putting that output out there. Not worrying about the results, just going, listen, if I show up and I put out quality every single day, great things are going to happen regardless of my goals and things that I've set. It's amazing to see people going through that program. So well done for working through the modules, Maya. Kev, how you doing, mate? He says, had the losing of a parent, his mum moment in July this year. I'm so sorry, mate. He says, after doing 3 years of caring, so back on it now. Wow, man, that must be hard. He says it does change the energy and perspective for sure. Yeah, it does, man. I had it with my dad. My mum's still around, thank God. But definitely had it with my dad in 2006, where I was like, what the hell am I doing with my life, mate? I was working for minimum wage in a toy shop, expecting somehow, I don't know what I was doing, Kev, expecting somehow to be discovered and have an acting career. Like, what's going to happen? I genuinely thought that as well. It's mental. When I look back at my thought process of how, it's all right, I remember when famous people had come into the shop, I'd be like, it's Paddy McGuinness, I've got to serve him. Maybe I can get an acting role. What? How on earth are you going to progress your career working 30 to 40 hours in a freaking toy shop? Having so little time actually to put into your acting career. It was mental, mate. And I lost my dad. I was like, what am I doing? My dad's last words he ever said to me was, you look after your mum. Literally, the morning he died, that's what he said. He had a heart attack and he didn't know he was going to die, but he was very unwell. And I was like, how am I going to do that? I was working for £5.75 an hour in a toy shop. I was a joke, mate. I was just like, what am I doing with my life? I know I have talent. I'd been to one of the best drama schools in the country, but I just had no idea of how the industry works. And that's when I started working in casting. I started speaking to people, moving my own career forward. And that's when I set up Acts on This. I mean, had I not been through that, I probably wouldn't have set up this community and you wouldn't be watching this video right now. But it is funny how I needed that huge loss in my life to actually take life seriously. And I don't know how. I try with Bulletproof Actor to get people in that mindset now before they have to deal with such a smack in the face like that. But it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult. You know, we don't often act on information. We're emotional beings, so we very often act on emotion as opposed to logic. So it's interesting, but really sorry to hear that, mate. But hopefully, yeah, you know, you're on the road to having a great 2023. See what else is going down in the comments here. People have had losses this year. Sorry to hear that as well, David. He says his sister-in-law died in March. He says he didn't know how much he loved her until she died. Mate, that's so sad. I'm so sorry, man. But I'm still sure she's a big part of your life. I talk to my dad more more now he's dead than I ever did when he was alive. I know that sounds mental, but like I've probably got a better relationship with him now. I see him more in my head than I did when he was alive. He was always working. But yeah, I still, you know, I've lost quite a few friends as well over the last couple of years. They still play a big part in my life. Though. It's weird, isn't it, when you lose somebody? They're not here physically, but in a way, like sometimes you can feel a bit more connected. I'm always like, oh, it's all right. You know, my mate Pat died. He was an absolute legend. My mate Eddie died last year. Eric James Dean, an incredible, you know, friend of mine, but great member of Acts on This.tv. They've all died in the last sort of 3 years, but I still chat with them, and I still, you know, I'm still a bit cheeky. I still ask them for favours. I'm like, mate, come on, can you sort this out for me? I don't know. I'm a big believer in energy. I'm quite spiritual. I'm not really religious or anything, but I'm like really spiritual. I do believe in energy, and I really freaking hope we do go on somewhere else and we can help each other out if that's possible. Sally, how are you doing? Says, did you not book then Barbara McAllen this year? No, that was at the end of last year. It came out this year. It was on BBC Two. That was a drama I was in with Ruth Madeley, Bruce Goodison, incredible director, and Amit. Amit's surname Shah, I think. Sharma. Yeah, directed that. Two great directors, written by Jack Thorne. And I played a really good character in it. Actually, it was a chat show guy, very similar to me, basically what I'm doing now. But I even got my catchphrase "Bye for now." We had to do an ad lib at the end, and I even got that into the scene, and they kept it in the show where I'm looking down the lens of the camera, going "Bye for now." So it was brilliant. But no, we shot that at the end of 2021. And it didn't air until 2022, so I can't count that. I'm not counting that as it's a credit for 2022, I guess. But I didn't book that this year, unfortunately. Nat's given herself a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Consistency can be a real challenge sometimes. Yeah, Nat, if consistency is a challenge for you, how good have you been this year at scheduling stuff? Because that's an absolute game changer. We take people through a framework called the BPS model in Bulletproof Actor, helping people brain dump everything they've got to do out on ultimately a big to-do list, a big just, you know, spew your brain out onto a page. Then we help people prioritize and then schedule into their day exactly what they've got to do. It takes a to-do list from being really overwhelming into being like, you know, really achievable. If you feel consistency is a challenge for you, you're probably not time blocking stuff out. That's what I found in my own life. And that sounds clinical because a lot of actors are like, oh, but I want to be spontaneous and I'm creative. Well, freaking schedule creative time. If you're that creative, go, okay, from 2 p.m. till 4 p.m. there's a 2-hour block there. I'm going to be creative in that 2 hours. It's just an excuse when actors say that. Oh, but I'm creative. I don't want to be slave to a schedule. Well, get nothing done then, basically. But yeah, Nat, look at scheduling. Really, really important. Alex's takeaways for this year are health and sleep, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Nat says stress will make your body do strange things. Honestly, it can. And your thoughts as well. Because very often, that's why I think mindset's everything, because it's your thoughts that lead to the feelings, that lead to the emotions, that ultimately lead to turning those taps on of, you know, adrenaline and cortisol in your body. And it takes a huge strain on all of your, your neurological and like cardio systems. It is so freaking important. Really is important. Zoe says, my lesson would be that I am just as worthy of success as anyone else. So true. My past does not define me, and my past doesn't get to dictate my identity. No, or your future. That's a big part of Bulletproof Actor. We're like, listen, your past, it's one of the first things we say. Everything until this point absolutely does not need to dictate, you know, your future. So good for you, Zoe. That's it's brilliant. Indra, how you doing, mate? Thanks for being here. Hope you are good. So what have we? God, this has gone fast. What time is it? Is that right? It's 10 to 10. I was going to... Okay. Right. We got 10 minutes left. Okay, what should we do for 10 minutes? I was going to... I was going to talk about our lessons of 2022, so I've kind of teased that. I've played Phil's trailer out. That's going to drop for you guys Wednesday morning. We've been over, for those people who are just joining now, tomorrow night, if you're a member of actsonthis.tv, we've got our Cocktails and Conversation evening. In fact, let me go over to the website now. Where is it? Here it is. If you click on the purple banner at the top, if you're not a member, this is where you'll see the live schedule. So it's going to be sparse because there's only one live call left this year. But there is going to be 2 podcasts out for you guys by Christmas Eve. There's the Phil Barantini one I've played out already. And then you'll get the Ats on This big 2022 wrap-up. That'll go live, I think, on the 22nd of December. And then what I will do over Christmas is I will put out the schedule. I might even do that on Christmas Eve, put out the schedule for January. We've got some great guests coming back in January. Daniel Edwards is going to be back in the house, and now Emmy-winning casting director, and an RTS winning casting director as well for Heartstopper, Netflix's Heartstopper. Daniel's known for casting some of the biggest shows in the world. I mean, literally like Line of Duty, huge show. Heartstopper, massive show. Malpractice, upcoming ITV drama that Phil Barantini actually directs. But Daniel's going to be back. I'm getting him to bring his awards round to my house so we can put them on the table while we are doing the podcast. BAFTA-winning director, Mr. Jordan Hogg. He's back in the house. He's just fresh from directing Ralph and Katie, the drama. You might have seen him on... he was doing all the rounds like Good Morning Britain and all kinds of stuff talking about that. The 2 leads in Ralph and Katie, 2 actors with Down syndrome. He's all about... Jordan himself has got... I always get his condition mixed up. Let me get back on camera. What's Jordan Hogg's condition? Why do I always get it mixed up? I always want to say multiple sclerosis, but it's not that. Somebody jog my memory. But Jordan's a massive sort of like disability advocate for, disabled creatives, pushing forward in the industry. So Ralph and Katie was quite groundbreaking. It was a spin-off of The A Word. If you ever saw The A Word, that was another incredible drama. But Jordan's going to be back. Cerebral palsy, Terry, thank you. Yes, I got it. Well, I didn't get it. You got it. Jordan's a legend, though. He's just one of the kindest. He's a freaking hard worker. You know what? When it comes to mindset as well, I've done a few interviews with Jordan. He's brilliant. I'll never forget him saying to me in his life, because he's got cerebral palsy down, like I think his left-hand side or just one side of his body. So he walks very slowly. He has to almost drag his leg along. And I remember, I was working on Casualty, and he was there directing a different block. And I remember meeting him there, and he wouldn't even accept a lift across the car park to his car. It might be like a 10-minute walk for Jordan, but he's like, no, I'm just going to get the steps in, get the exercise in, don't want to lift. And he said to me in an interview once, he said, obviously having cerebral palsy, he says he's never, ever been able to, physically, literally run away from anything. He's had to stand there and fight it. And it's almost a metaphor for sort of his life and his journey in the industry. I thought it was quite a powerful metaphor, but it's his reality as well. He's never been able to run away, so he's had to sort of develop the resilience and the tenacity to just keep going, even just an inch at a time, slow, but he's got there. He's done incredible things. So Jordan's going to come back on. Peter Hunt from Hollyoaks, head of casting at Hollyoaks, is going to be back. I'd love to have Peter on every January. We get Peter on, really, because he's a proper positive guy, really feel good casting director, and he gives every year. He must give. It's got to be hundreds of actors their first TV job. He's casting Hollyoaks practically every single day of the week. So Peter's a great one to start the year with. We just got loads of great guests. It's never been, honest to God, it's never been a better time to be a member of actsonthis.tv. Oh, and one thing I will say, because there hasn't been, and this doesn't affect anyone who is a current member of Acts on This. If you're a current member, you're always protected. If you have a membership now, no matter when you bought it, if you keep that subscription active, you will never pay more than you pay now. That's something that I'm a big advocate of. I hate it, I just don't like putting prices up, particularly for existing members. So if you got in 5 years ago, super cheap, you'll still be paying that super cheap price today, even though there's been price hikes over the years. The last price hike was in 2019. What's that, like 3 years now? The price on AtsOnThis.tv hasn't gone up. Costs obviously have. So there will be, I don't know when, it won't be just straight away in the new year, but there will be a slight rise in membership price for new members on AtsOnThis.tv, but it won't affect anybody who is a current member. You will never pay more than you do now. So if you're listening to this and you're not a member yet and you want to get in cheaper, then you'll be able to get in later in 2022. Buy membership now. You will lock that price in. It's £6 a week. It's dirt cheap. It's 24 quid. Most acting workshops are like, I'm seeing people, and I'm seeing bullshit workshops as well, charging 60 quid for a load of shit. Where you get to maybe do a scene once and then just go and sit down for 2 hours watching everybody else. There's some brilliant workshop providers out there, by the way. Some really good ones. Just Add Milk do a lot of really good ones. Casting Workshops. There's quite, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. There's probably a good 4 or 5 really legitimate workshop providers, but I do see a load of shit being sold, like really expensive rip-off stuff. I'm like, there's just no real benefit to that. So be careful. But yeah, most people are charging, even the cheaper ones who are legit. It's still sort of, it's relatively affordable, 30 quid, 35 quid a workshop or whatever. I will give you 7 features with the biggest names in the industry every single month, currently for 24 quid if you sign up now. That will be rising. It won't go up massively. It'll probably be 29 quid a month at some point in 2022. It's just because my costs have gone up. No one's giving me discount, unfortunately, so I can't forever give everybody else discount, but I still think it's an absolute bargain. 29 quid a month to basically get access to the biggest names in the industry. If you use the information on there and you book an acting job, through implementing that advice, the minimum you're going to get paid for one line in the TV industry nowadays is probably 600 quid. Like, it's such a tiny investment in the grand scheme of things, but don't panic if anybody sees any price rises. If you're a current member, it will not affect you whatsoever. I will always look after those people who are already in. Zoe says, I paid £60 for one for a workshop and totally regretted it. Yeah, honestly, there's some really poor value out there. Honestly, like just check when you're before you're booking any workshops. Check how many people are going to be in that room. If I ever see workshops where there's 25 people in the room, I'm like, it's just pointless. Like, if you break it down, I mean, let's do it on a calculator. Let's just, because this is the reality of it, right? Let me bring up a calculator on my computer here. Right, where are we? Where's my calculator? Let's do the actual maths here, right? So let's say a workshop's 2.5 hours. So that's 150 minutes in it. Let's take off 15 minutes at the beginning for the hi. Welcome to the workshop. So good to be here. Let's take some pictures so we can put them on social media and show everybody how good our workshops are so we can sell more. So that takes us down. I sound like such a bitch. Right, so that takes us down to 135 minutes. And let's say there's 25 people in that group, okay? So I'm going to divide that by 25 minutes. In fact, no, before I do that, let's take off another 15 minutes for the Q&A at the end. So that 135 minutes comes down to 120 minutes. 2 hours in it. 2 hours divided by 25 people. For your 60 quid, you're getting 4.8 minutes if you're lucky. 4.8 minutes to do a performance. So you'll get maybe two pages of script. So you're literally paying 60 quid to do a scene once. If they can give you 30 seconds feedback, that's going to be pretty much all they can do when they're cutting into 4.8 minutes. Your scene's 2 minutes. You've got another 30 seconds max for your feedback. You do your scene again. Everyone goes, yeah, good job. All right, okay, yeah, if you want to sit back down. And next, so who's next? And then you sit there for 1 hour and 45 minutes watching everybody else, sometimes doing the exact same scene. Now, there's merit in doing that once or twice, because you'll see where people fail and where people succeed, and you can emulate that. But doing that every single week is just freaking pointless. There's so much more quality outreach you can do to build rapport with a casting director from home for free, than hoping they're going to remember you and give you a job from a workshop. So like at 60 quid a pop, I just think it's like, and some are even dearer than that. I'm like, it's just a cash cow. And when I see, what really annoys me as well? When I see agencies who are almost sort of pressuring their own clients into going to their workshops. It's almost like if you don't come at the workshops, you can't be in the agency. What? How about you just get your actors work and earn money from that instead? Like, because you don't see United or Curtis Brown or, you know, the big London agents going, hi guys, yeah, we're going to set up a workshop now, and you've got to pay us if you want to be on the books. No, they're just getting all their actors thousands of pounds worth of work, and they're earning the commission that way. So just be careful in 2023 who you give money to. Zoe says that maths is scary. It's the reality of it, and it's what people don't understand. And it's also what you should look at when you're signing with an agent as well. Chris Hitchens said this. I'm going to run over a little bit here. But Chris Hitchens, brilliant actor. And I'd never thought about it before. But he said, if you're going to sign with one of the smaller boutique agencies, have a look at how many agents are in it. And have a look at how many clients they've got. Because ultimately, you know, let's say, you know, even conservatively, they've got 80 clients. It's a small boutique agency, one agent looking after 80 people. That agent can put 30 minutes a week into your career. They literally have 6 minutes a day, Monday to Friday, to help you succeed in your career. 6 minutes. And actors sit there going, oh, my agent's going to do all the work for me. What, you think they're going to do that in 6 minutes a day? Like, you've really got to look at your career as a business in 2023 and just go, right, how can I maximize my business? If you were setting up any other business, you had a cupcake business, and you were expecting to sell consistently your cupcakes or T-shirts to the world, how good do you think you'd be at making profit if you could only put 6 minutes a week into your marketing? Pretty poor. Pretty poor. I don't think you sell many cakes, would you? Or many T-shirts. So, again, that's why I set up Acts on This. I'm like, let's understand the business of the business. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting topic. I like talking about it. So maybe we'll discuss that on the 2022 wrap up with Petch. I always think I'm going to get cancelled on one of those podcasts because I talk so openly about stuff like that, and I'm like, someone's going to see it and be like, he's well out of order. I just think it's the truth, though, isn't it? Genuinely, I just know that I always try and put out as much value as possible for as little money as possible. So if you're not a member of Acts on This, come and check it out and see for yourself. Right, folks, I have just gone over. It's just gone 10 o'clock, but thank you so much for being here. atsonthis.tv/trial. If you do want to check out atsonthis.tv for just £1 for 7 days, you don't have to carry your membership on if you don't want. But I promise you, when you dive into the members area, the amount of tweets that I get from people going, oh my God, how have I only just discovered you? And then they buy an annual membership the same week they took the trial out. I get that a lot. So do come and check out the community. And I promise you, I'm going to go bigger, better, provide even more value than ever in 2023. We're going to do more of those in-person events, going to do just as many online events. I'm also launching something really cool called, no, I can't tell you. I'm not going to tell you yet. I almost told you. An entirely different side to atsonthis.tv as well, which I think is going to change the game genuinely for our industry. I'm thinking big. Go big or go home. So, yeah, do come and get involved if you can. And just thanks for being here. Put a yes in the chat now if you're here live on Facebook, if you're going to be on the Cocktails and Conversation evening tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. atsonthis.tv if you want to get a membership so you can be involved in that. We're going to give away hundreds of pounds worth of Amazon gift cards and signed copies of Julie Hesman-Hausch's new book, An Actor's Alphabet. It's a brilliant book. I'm going to give away plenty of signed copies of that tomorrow night. Zoe says, I would not be the person I am today without Acts on This. Well, thank you, Zoe. Appreciate that. It's amazing having you as a member. Joe's in the house tomorrow night. Let us know if you're going to be here on the Cocktails and Conversation night tomorrow. Bring a mulled wine. I've got some mulled cider, actually. I'm going to have tomorrow night. It's not going to be too leery, too late. We'll probably wrap it up by about 10 o'clock. But do come and join us if you can. Wear your Christmas jumper if you've got one. I haven't. Nick's going to be there. Alice is going to be there. And Alice says, let's get drunk. We did one year. I'm never doing it again. But we did one year in the early days where we went till about 2 a.m. on Zoom. Ended up getting like really leery and people doing karaoke and stuff. We ended up linking Spotify in with Zoom and doing karaoke at about 2 o'clock in the morning. It was ridiculous. And I had a really early start the next day as well. Talk about protecting your sleep. I didn't protect my sleep that week. Kevin's in. Nice one, Kev. Wicked. Zoe's working. He says, but if it goes late, I'll tune in late. We might be, I'll try and drag it out till 10 o'clock or something like that, Zoe, if you can make it after work. Maya's going to be there. Indra's not sure. But if you can make it, mate, it'd be great to see you. It'll be a really good laugh. It's just, it's a proper sort of chilled out night. But Petch is so happy with this quiz, and he's not letting me see any of it. So I don't know if it's going to be any good. He's normally very good at quizzes, but he says he's doing something he's never done before. It scares me a bit. But I'm like, okay, Let's see what you've got for us, Pex. So yeah, 7:30 p.m. tomorrow. Be there, and then don't forget. I'm going to end now on. I'm going to play this trailer out of Phil Barantini's podcast for those people who didn't see it earlier. This is dropping for all members of ActsOnThis.tv on Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Please, 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 please. Tune into this week if you can. There's going to be an audio-only version in your members area and a video version. You don't have to sit there watching the video if you don't want. You can watch this. You can listen, just to the audio whilst you're out and about doing Christmas shopping or whatever. But it's a really good chat, honestly. Particularly if you want to quit right now, where you're like, fuck, like how long can I keep doing this if you've not had a great year? Listen to Phil's story. It'll inspire the hell out of you. So I'll play this now and I'll wrap it up. But thank you so much. Yeah, I can't wait. I'll be back next Monday. Can't wait to chat again, going over our top 5 lessons of 2022. Don't know what they are yet, but I'll have them for you. And I want you to come and get involved in that and pitch me yours as well. So until next time, let's play you this again. Lots of love to you all. Have an amazing week, and I'll catch up with you soon. All right. Until then, bye for now.
Philip Barantini, welcome back to ActsOnThis.tv. Welcome to my kitchen. You'll be pleased to hear there's nothing hitting boiling point around here except this chat. Where do we begin?
Thanks for coming.
Let's make some chips, yeah? Chop some spuds. Yes, sir. Enjoy your drinks. Thank you.
Service on table 20.
Started out really well. I was very successful in my own eyes. I was doing well. I was in a band of brothers, and
yeah.
Went to Australia to do a big film over there with Heath Ledger. I was okay for money, but then when the jobs weren't coming in, I was getting, I needed to make some money, I needed to pay the bills. I was working in kitchens. I was going through quite a tough time in my life in terms of with my addictions and stuff like that. I never said I was quitting acting, you know what I mean? I'd never be like, oh, I've quit. But the auditions just weren't coming in. My mum passed away quite suddenly. She had this rare case of dementia called Pick's disease. She fell down the stairs basically.
Oh no.
And died. It was horrific. I was away in Spain at the time. My attitude changed completely, and I was like, do you know what? Why can't I do it?
Yeah.
Like, fuck it, what have I got to lose? You know what I mean? I said, listen, I'll get this made we can get this made in the next couple of months. Guarantee it. And I've got contacts here, contacts there. I had no fucking idea if we could get this made in 2 months.
In terms of the BAFTA nominations that you went on to get for that feature then, so best casting, leading actor for Stephen.
He would never consider himself, better than anyone else. And I think it's a wonderful quality to have that. And yet he's worked with some of the best actors and directors in the world.
Outstanding British film.
Yep.
Outstanding debut by a British writer, director or producer.
Yeah. There was no solid okay, let's go and do a TV series. It was almost just like, yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, maybe we should do that then, because it'll be, you can sort of develop these characters further, and you've got more time. So we jumped on a Zoom, and she's like, okay, I'm going to cut to the chase. Have you thought about doing a TV series with Boiling Point? She said, we'll commission a script, go and write it. I always say to people now, just jump off the cliff and see if you can fly.